guys, it's Christy, and today I'm going to be doing another movie review of Christopher Robin. So it would have been great if I could have watched this movie when it first came out, so I could have reviewed it earlier, but then I figured I'm not Roger Ebert, so I think it's okay. But anyway, so this movie was released August 3rd, I believe, of this year, and I was so excited to watch it. I have been a huge fan of Winnie the Pooh since I was a little kid. It's like I don't even think about all the memories I have that kind of relate back to Winnie the Pooh until I'm talking to my husband about it. And then I'm like, oh yeah, like for example, you know, my dad used to take my sister and I to the park to play Pooh sticks. Like we really did. There was this bridge in the park and with like a little stream underneath it. And we would play Pooh sticks, you know, where you throw the sticks down and then you go to the other side and it's kind of like a race to see which of the sticks comes out first. And it's so funny, I actually remember dropping a Polly Pocket, you know, the Polly Pockets of like the little dolls or whatever in them. I remember dropping my little Polly Pocket into the river, and then like some stranger came and got it, but it was while we were playing Pooh sticks that this happened. So I have so many memories that kind of like revolve around some kind of Winnie the Pooh thing. And then the Little Black Rain Cloud, especially that song, my mom used to sing that all the time, and I still sing it from time to time. So it definitely was integral to my childhood experience. So that's why this movie was so nostalgic for me, and I definitely wanted to watch it, and it definitely did not disappoint. So the movie begins with Christopher Robin, who is a little boy in the 100-acre wood with all of his friends, and he is saying goodbye to them. He's going away to boarding school. So we kind of get to see a montage of Christopher Robin growing up and some of the hardships that he faces, like his father passing away and then him going off to war. And along the way he meets Evelyn, who later becomes his wife, and this all happens within the first act, so it's no spoilers or anything. He meets Evelyn, his wife, who gets pregnant, and he has to leave them for years while he's off at war. So already he's struggling a bit with his relationships, you know, with his wife and with his daughter, who he hasn't gotten to see grow up into this little girl. So by the time he returns back from war, he barely knows his little girl, and he's a very different person from the boy who used to run around with Winnie the Pooh. He takes work very seriously. He's definitely a workaholic, you know, trying to provide for his family. And one day his boss asks him to work over the weekend that he had actually planned on going with his wife and daughter to the cottage where he used to live when he would visit the 100-acre wood. So it's definitely a hard moment when he has to tell his wife that he's not going with them and that he has to stay behind in London and work. So it's during this time that Christopher Robin stays behind in London while his daughter and wife go off without him, and Winnie the Pooh actually ends up finding him in London and asking him for help with a problem of his own. So right off the bat, I wanted to talk about some similarities that I saw between Christopher Robin and the 1991 film Hook, starring Robin Williams. So the two films start with an adult version of these youthful characters that we know, and they're both struggling in their family dynamics because they have become workaholics. Work has taken precedence in their life. In the beginning of both films, the wife essentially says to the husband, you're missing out on your life. You're missing out on your children. You're missing out on watching them grow up. And throughout the film, they both get reintroduced to their previous life and these values that they had as children. So I definitely felt like the structure of the films were both very similar, but it didn't bother me. It was nice and nostalgic for me. I mean, because Hook was such a long time ago, and I own it, I love it. I watch it actually quite frequently. I just love Robin Williams, but that's a side note. So Hook was actually more than 20 years ago? That's crazy to me. It doesn't seem like that long ago. I like that they're taking that storyline and introducing it to a new generation over 20 years later. Because I think it's an important lesson that some people need to learn, is that what is important or what seems important is not always more important than some of the simpler things in life, like spending time with your family, you know? And that not every day has to be a great day, that the day can be great in its simplicity and in the small things. It's that reminder to smell the roses and observe. So this movie almost made me cry several times, I'll admit. The first reason was that Christopher Robin kind of barely gave any recognition to Pooh after basically 30 years apart. And Pooh tells Christopher Robin at one point that they've thought about him every single day for the past 30 years. And it doesn't really seem to have much of an impact on him, which just made me really sad. Pooh actually asked at one point, "Did you let me go?" And it just broke my heart. I almost cried just then and there. But it was a really sad and sentimental moment when you realize that he's kind of let all of his childhood values and even these friends that he's had that were so close to his heart, he's let them slip away, just as he's let his family, even in his current life, kind of slip to the background, you know, and that his work has taken priority over everything. It's a sad moment. It's sad to see. Pooh has a way of saying the most profound things in such a simple and succinct way. He has this ability to observe people and observe life and just say things so openly and honestly that everyone can relate to. Even going back to the books, there are so many quotes by Winnie the Pooh that I just love, and I feel like they're so universal to kids and to adults. And I just love him. I just think that he is very wise for a bear of so little brains. I loved seeing all the characters. Eeyore, Piglet, Tigger, of course. Tigger was always one of my favorites. I always thought Kanga was like so demure because she was like she's the only female, right? For the longest time when I was a kid, I thought Piglet was a female. So I never really liked Owl all that much. I thought he was kind of annoying and a know-it-all, but I guess that's sort of the intention. And then Eeyore is so pessimistic with all his gruff comments, but he offers a lot of comedic relief. I really love him. I love the friendship between Pooh and Piglet. I always have. I just think that they're so sweet to each other. I definitely felt like the plot reflected the theme of Winnie the Pooh. It's a reminder to enjoy nature, your friends, your family, to observe and reflect on these things. It definitely took me back to a simpler perspective, a childhood perspective of how simple life really is when you look at it. As children, we aren't rich and we can't really go anywhere, you know? A lot of us spent so much time in our backyard playing with sticks and stones and leaves and mixing things together, making mud pies and all of that stuff. And it was just a reminder of how much fun we used to have with so little, you know? And that really some of the best moments in life are the simplest moments. And that at the end of the day, all we really need are the ones that we love and just spending time with them and connecting with nature, that these things are really what's important in life. So I loved how simple and sweet and nostalgic the storyline was. It's definitely what I was hoping for. I was looking for an ode in remembrance of all these great memories I had of Winnie the Pooh, and it definitely delivered. So if you're a big fan of Winnie the Pooh and you haven't seen it yet, I definitely recommend it. You should go and watch it. It is a great trip down memory lane. So those are all my thoughts on the movie. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on future videos like this one, and I'll see you next time.